You
Could be though
used to
that I'm in
be.
my fifties now too.
Yeah.
I hope that I look as good as you when I'm in my fifties.
Oh, I thank you, Mike.
Okay, I
I
have
thought we
7
shared
o'clock,
the
does
same.
everybody have 7?
Works for me.
There is 7.
No, that's not Nick. That's my
Okay,
son.
well, oh, it's, yes. All right, we, call the final meeting of the Finance Committee for tonight. We want to review where we are so far and have any discussions.
Water, you want it? Ice water? Yeah, I'll take some ice water,
I don't know.
since you're at it.
And,
Yeah, I'll have to run upstairs, but I could just.
we're gonna move right ahead here. I have, I put the synopsis that I wrote from the last meeting on top because I'm interested in just making sure we've reviewed that and then any additional discussions that we may want to have about capital or other items can come in. And, let's see. There were just very minimal adjustments to the police department 101, 210. Basically, they wanted $2,000 more in ammunition, and that was moved in to the appropriate line item. And that was for practicing with the weaponry. They wanted to increase a line in the dispatcher unit to account for the full-time person for a full year in the new dispatcher. And we did accommodate that. We moved this up to $325,851.75 from $293. So the full dispatcher is now covered for the full year in terms of funding. In terms of the part-time salaries, we did accommodate, and as he requested, $35,000 was moved up to $44,500. And do we have? Oh, there's the cup set. Did you put this in? Thank you. Now, we did also in the 401 capital area, we did move in $40,000 for the police cruiser. Is there any discussion on that? Does anybody have strongly negative views on accommodating the additional car?
We're gonna have a dog, I think we really have to have a car that you can ride in. I mean,
Yes.
I always hate to spend money, but.
Yeah, okay, so I felt that it would be okay to go ahead with that, but I just want to make sure everybody else, okay.
That's only one instead of 7, like we usually get. We're down.
Do you know,
Actually, I
Steve,
did talk to the chief, he was okay with what he had, so.
I forgot what city it was this week, but, or last week, maybe you guys might shine some light on this, an officer was charged for the death of their canine.
Montville.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so if you have a special, in the car, like in the summertime, they have a air conditioning unit and so forth, but I guess this was only 60-something degrees, and he left the dog in the car,
Didn't
and
turn
it
on the
died,
air
and
conditioning.
he's being charged for it.
I know.
So I think we need to
What
really
is it,
think
cruelty
about
to
that, about
animals,
this
or-
car,
Yeah.
that it's equipped right, where, the dog does not die.
It is.
Huh?
They have a special part in there that it beeps if the officer, and it's too long, it gets too warm.
Yeah.
Right.
It starts to put an alarm system on.
Okay, good. They would not want the dog to pass away after
Yeah,
we train
she
it.
had that from Mac, the first dog.
Right.
Right.
Oh dear.
Didn't do as much good
Yeah, well, Mac Friend passed away, I understand.
And the second one passed away also.
Oh, really?
We really haven't had good luck with dogs.
Well,
Maybe we should rethink.
This is
Did
the
the
dog
second one
problem.
pass away the same way?
Cancer.
Oh,
Oh, okay, I was gonna say,
Well,
but I don't
The
remember.
first one was a heart defect and the second one was cancer.
Okay. Okay, and the fire department wanted just some minor adjustments, which was basically to take the part-time salaries from $285 to $295. It's gonna be budget neutral actually, because they then said we could decrease overtime because of that down to down to 10,000 to 100,000. So basically that was done on 101, 222, 5115, and 5120. Those adjustments were made. The school,
Just one quick question back
Yeah.
on the dispatchers. If we increase, because we have the new ones, do we also need to make sure we've increased any relatable line items?
Yes, those,
Because you're only marking that we're upping the dispatchers' salaries, but don't we also have to look at any
No,
of
they-
the hospitalization, workman's comp,
There-
those kinds of things?
there was, I did talk about this with Scott, that there is an adjustment that was made actually across the board because we still did not have information on two parts of the insurance. Our medical insurance went up 5%, but he marked all of the benefits in the medical area, not just the medical insurance, but the, the dental and the eye insurance and everything. So it's all up 10%. We should have enough flex in there that we will not have a
So
problem.
the increase of $300 for Medicare per year is the increase for $200 in
Mhm.
workman's comp is, I don't know how many people, I can't remember how many he said he had added, but I think we need to make sure that those numbers
We'll make a
match with
notation.
the amount of people.
I'll make a notation, Jamie, and
I'm
we'll
not
check
sure
that.
200 is gonna cut it.
Okay. We will check that, make sure that, because we have this additional length of time, that this person was getting those benefits last year. They were full-time, but they were only there half a year. So, for a practical matter, it's likely to have already been covered, but we will check. Okay. Now, next item, as I said, there were small adjustments. It didn't appear that we really, from the fire department standpoint, we were doing very well. The one thing we did do that increased their line items is we did add money for the antenna in the fire department's budget. And,
Can I speak on it?
yes, sure.
The numbers we got for the equipment, the quotes were $8,400.
Okay.
The one quote I've received so far for the steeplechase, which is the people that'll climb the tower,
Okay.
is $1,800.
To climb up and put it there, is that the
Right,
installation?
and that's
part?
only here. Incom's going to install the mate to that antenna on the rec center, because basically
They-
a point of sight,
Okay, those other people aren't going out there to do it. The 1,800 is only for here.
only for this tower.
Okay, and what
And
is
that's
in-
only, the only price I got. I'm
Okay.
working on more.
Hopefully someone will be willing to scale that for 1,500 or 12.
Well,
I
some
heard
people I
Captain would do
spoke
it for
to,
$250.
He'll do it for 250.
yeah, with 3 zeros after, I would consider it.
Okay, whatever that
But
is. Let me
I had
know what
heard
the
as high as
adjustment-
$3,000, so I was
For-
kinda happy just to.
Oh, just to have somebody to do it for
And-
18?
Yeah, and there's labor associated with installing it on the rec center, aiming them, and then all the setup, I guess, and this is not my forte,
Mhm.
within IT. So, here's what we were thinking about.
Okay.
I spoke with Angela today.
Right,
It's also one of those projects, once we start,
okay.
we can't say, okay.
Well, no, we're
it's
not
a little-
stopping, we're doing it, so.
Right,
Okay.
so, our thought process was, if we could, at the next council meeting, add to this year's budget, the
Uh-huh.
sooner we get this done, because right now we have to wait until at least the first of the year.
Yeah. Well, what are you saying, that the?
If we could reappropriate
Okay.
into our budget,
Uh-huh.
like $14,000
Mhm.
to allocate the funds for the labor of the IT people,
And the actual.
and the climbing, and the equipment,
Mhm.
I'm 99.9% sure that would more than cover it. I just hesitate to say 100%.
Okay, well, let me just ask you this question then. Brian, let's say that we've got, the tower itself is going to be, you're saying 8,400,
That's just the equipment,
yeah. Then you're.
both sides, for here and the rec center.
Yes, so companion
Right.
pieces, right. So both antennas. And then we're talking 1,800 for somebody to come over here and do it,
Mhm.
up that tower. And we're talking what for income to climb up on the roof there or whatever.
I heard they had said 30 to 40 hours in labor to set everything up. And
30 to 40
No,
hours?
I have no clue what that entails, I'm not. a
Okay, so what
I
did they
turn them
quote
on
you
and
per
use
hour?
them.
What's the amount per hour
I don't know what they charge us, $100 an hour probably.
See,
IT
I could
goes
probably
for.
do that for less.
I have no clue what it entails. I know it's running wires here,
Yes,
and once they're inside the building, because the steeplechase will only do it down the tower into our building, then it goes out through conduit to a manhole,
Yeah.
and more conduit in the same conduit to all the radio wires. running.
and that's what.
The question I asked, can we use the same wire? No, because we use phone
Okay.
line for that, it's not big enough for data.
Okay, so at the worst case scenario,
I'm
you're
sorry.
saying 14,000.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe worst case, I hate to say 100%, because.
Yeah.
This is new wire, not replacing wire.
Correct.
The conduit, right?
Right. We gotta push it.
Conduit has space.
And, they're telling me it's
Tell you,
gonna be
deal with
difficult,
that
but
every
it can be
day.
done.
Worst thing is you come out
I
and
know.
there's no space, you gotta build.
Somebody told us they
conduit.
felt we should use fiber optics.
Any way to have someone shoot it and see if it's okay.
I don't know.
Well, you probably should be using fiber optic, because if you don't, the speed value will be less.
You know what fiber optics cost?
Well, find out.
Is that Verizon conduit or ours?
Ours.
We got Verizon wire in it.
When that tower was
Trying to
built,
think of who can shoot it for us, because maybe
when that
if
tower
you're
was built,
14,
we were
it
in
will
the
jump
old
drastically.
building. And the conduit ran from there to the old building. When this building was built, they shot a conduit out to a manhole, they cut that conduit, and it now runs there, then into this building, all the way underneath our apparatus floors, into our building, above our ceiling in our training room, over to the, radios and computer room, located in the police department.
Okay,
Whoever you hire is gonna have to shoot the conduit first and shoot up, need more, that you have enough space in the room, additional pocket.
They never shot it before.
well,
Well, it depends how much you put in there, and if they build a big enough.
This is Cat 6E,
Yeah.
pair of Cat 6E.
If they build it for big, it should be okay. A lot of times they don't build it for
well, let me just say this. I see no problem with making the adjustment in this year's budget. We need to do that. We will remove the money that we placed in the next year's budget. But I do believe that we will have $14,000 available to place into budget this year.
You want to look at fiber optic, get a price at least?
Yeah, well, give me a price, because we have time before the next meeting, but we need a price.
All right.
What's the advantage of fiber optic?
Well, the speed is just so much greater.
it. That's how you run now anyhow. You don't run cable, you run fiber.
Yeah,
Everybody
because
does.
everybody does, yeah.
But it's.
Expensive.
It's more difficult.
Somebody shot me,
You break it pretty good.
they yelled it out. I wrote it down, I was like, that's a lot.
Do you have any idea what it was?
I get old,
We
I
investigated
got gray hair.
that years ago,
Well, yeah, things have changed.
and we decided not to do that because of the cost was exorbitant. And the cost of this in comparison is far less.
Well, we're gonna get the money back fairly shortly on this, because we're saving according to what the notation was.
I think it's 10 months.
Yeah, it won't take much long time to get this back, so it's best to do it. And do it the right way, so that we don't regret it in 5 years.
But
Because
but
this building and
maybe
the
the
rest,
speed isn't that much less.
including all the fiber.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
look at all that.
I'm not saying,
Fiber?
but he's gonna get the number, so
Fiber.
we'll know.
They're just gonna put the antenna.
It'll hook everything up, it'll be for that, it's
Let me make a
turnkey.
notation here on this one.
It doesn't include any fiber optic.
They're gonna just run the fiber. You have to have at least one point.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all I do all
101,
day.
0222, 5900.
I was just asked to help get an antenna on
Do
the
you know
tower.
where for one? Who's the client, the company?
We're gonna talk, it's gonna be our system.
Okay, so minus 8,000 in 101, 222, 5900. And we'll allocate that this year then. Okay,
I'll shoot you guys all an email when I get that fiber optic price,
okay.
and, we'll go by the next meeting.
So that's gonna take you down to 30,000 for next year in capital equipment.
Right.
Okay.
Are you good with all this, Chief Black? You're sitting over there, being
Yes.
quiet? Okay. good.
Absolutely, yeah, this, Brian's been working on this project and he's.
But I meant the rest of the budget too.
Yes, exactly. And lowering it back down, I mean, it was pushed up and it can be pushed back down if the money's available now, so.
Right.
All right.
Okay, so we've got that addressed. Now, the service department had a more complex set of issues here. We did make the adjustment in the overtime. We also, now this is something that we need to discuss, but I tentatively had him put in the funding for upgrading Memorial Park cannon and the associated material. Memorial Park has a number of issues with it that need to be addressed, just from the appearance sake for this town. Does anybody have a strong opposition to that idea? Or, I do think we ought to do some work on the parks, so.
I would say we've had that plan out there forever, we just need to make sure that the road's done before we begin anything.
Yes,
So
I
it may
agree
not
with
be
you.
2015, it could be 2016,
Okay.
because we don't wanna start anything till that's why we've never finished, because that road's always had something
understand.
going on.
But there are a
So,
couple of things we can do while they're construction. We can
Yeah.
do the gazebo.
I mean, you could take the
instead.
cannon out and start.
Take the
but
cannon
The
out.
cannon
I
is
wish
really the
anything
more
else,
expensive.
Like the
Right,
gazebo, that
right.
I'd wait.
Sidewalks moving. It's
Yeah.
gonna be in the park.
That whole thing,
that
the
exists.
design had changed
Mhm.
with the increase in the bridge, increase of the road.
So the design itself is going to impact when we can actually make the other adjustments
Where
to
your
the.
sidewalks are now is where the telephone poles are gonna be.
Yeah, I figured that just from the way they said they had to back it off for a lane, because that's gonna happen. Okay, well, tentatively, the cannon itself, it looks like it could be rehabbed in this budget. But the actual final installation, is that correct or not?
Yeah, because we don't know where they're gonna actually put the sidewalks, and then the cannon will have to be back from there.
Okay, so we could remove it to
Yeah, we
be
can
worked on?
remove it, have it fixed up, clean, and then when the
Okay.
park is done,
I mean,
put it back.
I don't have a problem with fixing it up, but what's wrong with the can now? It looks
If
fine.
you, from, I call it a 40-footer, from 40 feet it looks great. You get up to it, it's all rusty, it's blistering, it just needs to be
What's the
sandblasted.
statute, are we okay with the statute?
Hard?
The statute,
Of the firemen?
is that okay, of course?
Yeah, that's fine. It just needs to have some touch over it,
Okay,
as far as the stone around there, the statue itself is fine.
okay.
We wash the statue
Yeah.
and then we also take care of the beam,
Okay.
so yeah, we do that.
Okay, so we're gonna proceed with that small adjustment there then, that's already in there. The contracting out of the work do we have a new number on that?
No,
Memorial?
I still have 6, I solicited 6, and
Mhm.
they still haven't really gotten back to me, so that's something that probably are, everybody must be very busy or got a lot of work, because they're not, answering me.
You wanna check on that, because
Yeah, I will,
We're gonna-
I'll pursue it again.
let's get the view of the group here as far as, I personally think it's a good idea because it hasn't been well maintained and it doesn't look right. And it seems like there's too much work for people.
We don't have enough guys,
Yeah.
fact of life, we don't have enough
Yeah.
people, there was never enough money put in the budget to staff appropriately. So you either hire people
Well, we're gonna
who also
contract.
have multi-purpose of doing snow plowing and things in the winter, or you contract out just for the summer.
Right.
Or we continue our summer seasonals, which we also have to cut the volume.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
I think the park, we ought to see what we can get for contracting out of at least Memorial Park.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty close to getting something, it's
Okay.
just pursuing them.
All right, well,
They're
you're
all
gonna
getting
get back
ready
to
for
us.
winter, and they're,
You're gonna get back to us on that,
Yes.
so, okay. Now, as far as, any of the other issues that you've raised,
I'd like to ask you this on, line 101, 201, 5610.
okay, hold on. Yep,
That's office supplies.
yes, uh-huh.
You gave us the 2,000, we asked for 4, but I was wondering if we could raise it to at least have 3,000.
You know, it's already been raised, we've already moved it
That's
up.
it, three.
Yeah, I will
And then
get
you go up.
anything What do you
I don't know,
want,
I
5620
just
or
printed this out
5610?
today, I hope it's the same. insurance.
5610 or 5620?
201, 5610, 101, 201, 5610.
5610 is.
Yeah, it says 3,000.
Oh, it does?
The book was,
Okay, mine, I can show you, mine says two.
you might wanna look and see what
It
it
says
says.
4,000.
Yeah.
Let me get this, I got the wrong number here, 5610.
This is what we asked for, and this is what was.
4,000 is
620.
sitting
that's
there,
what you were told to do.
5610.
Yeah.
Unless my mind is gone.
So if it's 3,000, it's fine, it's up in that, this is what I was
Oh, yeah.
printed
It's
out.
4,
Yeah,
It's 4,000.
it's
Wait.
4. You're
Okay.
saying 101, 201,
The
5610?
columns at the top don't line up.
5610, he
Yeah.
asked for
That's the
4,
problem.
his copy says he has 2, and
You gotta
my
go to the
copy says
farthest.
he has 3.
Go to
These
the
don't
farthest
line up
one.
right. So the last one is 15,
Yeah,
and it's actually 4,000.
it's
Is
4,000.
there another iteration? I don't have something that goes sideways, I have something that goes
I think
like
this
that.
is the way it got printed out, because these were
Yeah.
printed out.
Okay, yeah, I printed it out today.
It does say
These were printed out
4,000.
on-
Are you saying you want us to reduce that?
No, on this third column, that's 2015, so I'm looking at 2015.
Well, that was the original projection, this is the
Oh, okay,
revised.
then I read it wrong,
Okay.
I apologize, we'll
Right.
take the 4,000.
We'll take the 4, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
How about 20? You want 20?
Oh, that's good.
$100. No extra zero.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Okay, now,
Let's see, there's something with the,
you have another line item you wanted to check on?
yes,
Okay,
with the storm materials.
While we're waiting, for Jimmy, I think, Laparo sent me an email today.
yeah, I got
About
the same
cleaning
one.
out the gutters and all this other stuff, and
I was gonna bring it up in the
Jan
senior
was explaining
program.
to me that that was a grant, while
That
we're
was a
waiting on
grant,
him.
that was a grant, we did that about 15 years ago.
We haven't done it since I've been on council.
Yeah, it could be longer than 15 years.
Yeah.
Right.
But we had a grant where we were allowed
Did
to go
you
out
receive
and
this
do the
in-
seniors.
Yeah, I saw her got her email, but
No, no, I
we'd
haven't.
never had a,
It
we'd
does
never had
grants.
that in our
It does
budget.
grants.
Okay.
It's just
It was a grant.
It was a grant from a senior program or something?
For a senior program.
Is that
It
what
might
we
be
used-
old, it might be 18 years, it
Is
could
that
be
what we
19.
used to do the grant for us for
Pardon?
the snow?
There's nothing like that now.
Not anymore, but remember we used to have grants to
Right.
do
Yeah.
this and.
There's nothing like that now.
Okay.
You could get high school kids to do that. We have some numbers that we gave out for the seniors.
Well-
They can call them, they'll do leaf inform, they'll rake their leaves, and it's all part of credits.
Oh,
The high
that's,
Oh, yeah, I never thought about
You know,
that.
They get credit for it.
right, that's part of these community service
Right,
credits
right.
now.
I didn't think we were doing.
I noticed the football players were out doing mulching and stuff.
That's a fundraiser, they charge, that's not free.
No, the kids are, the emails are coming through the school, cause my kids are in
No, the
high school.
mulching, no, you pay for.
Yeah, but
I
the kids
paid
are
for
getting
it, that's
community
not free.
service hours for
Did
doing
it,
it, for
Right.
laying
we
it.
did it, how much was the grant that we did? Do you remember?
It was pretty lucrative because everybody was working. They were working Saturdays, Sundays. I mean, it was all
What is
over
Jimmy
the
looking
place.
for? What are you looking for over there? You're looking for something.
Yeah, I have another thing I want to bring up about the trees.
Uh-huh,
I'm just trying to find a line item.
okay.
We got something here for trees that we
It's
passed out.
223, 5620.
Okay.
That's our subdivision tree fund.
Mhm.
And on that information that I gave, we have 22.5 in that. But if you do the actual inventory,
Yeah.
it should be up,
What number is that, Jimmy?
it's
It's
223, 5620.
222, isn't it? Or is it 223?
It's 223, 5620.
So supplies and materials?
Yes, that's for our tree fund.
I don't
That's
see it.
where they put it.
It's
222.
Run towards the back. 223, we have
Yeah, I see
22.5 in there.
223, I see 22.5 and 22.23.
Where's 223?
I don't have 223, I have 222.
223, 5620 on page 15. Of course, mine printed differently, so can't help you there.
I'm looking at this one. But anyways, there's 22,500 in there. You actually need, when we get the actual inventory
What's on
that I
this
gave
one?
you,
You need 42,575.
Follow it
Or
down
do you
under
need-
221.
Yeah, mine's so
You
different.
don't
Oh,
have
yeah,
it?
you said you need 40,300.
No, for that
If
one.
I just do 13,000, it's like Forest Road and
Yeah,
Hell's
40,000.
Woods,
I
I
don't
need-
have it.
17,800 more.
Sylvia, what's the last four digits?
And what about the?
5620,
residents?
it's 223, 223,
I
56.
only have 222.
It was way in the back, I think, that's our problem. It's like,
So you need it to be
keep going to the back, it's
40,300.
like the third page from the back, at the very bottom.
This I gave you.
Okay. So this is a new one, new item.
This is, these are itemized, here we inventory everything. And it shows you, this is what's in there, but this is what we need to fulfill all these developments. Is how many trees that they still need.
Okay, now these were all trees that
We still owe them.
we owe them?
Yes.
Here's two.
Mhm.
No, that's two.
Okay.
So, but we need an additional 17,800
Okay,
to
there
make
it is.
that
Okay.
where, when we need to put them in, the money's there.
I get it, I
Okay.
get what you're saying, all right.
Okay, and then this line item is what Mr.
Which one?
He talked Thursday about in regards to the trees on Firestone.
Okay,
We'll have to find a, I don't know if you wanna put that in the line item.
no, what, this is something where we have the trees.
Yeah, we have a tree fund, and the tree replacement,
Mhm.
or that tree fund is 201, 350, 5610.
Okay,
Right now, we only have $500 in there, but we need to, for Firestone,
Mhm.
there's 24 more trees that still have to come out.
You're
And that
saying
comes-
these are the ash trees that are being removed?
Yes, on Firestone.
All right,
And
give me the line item again.
it is 201, 350, 5610.
Okay,
Right now, there's only $500 in there.
Yeah, you highlighted that last time, that wasn't enough. So is that, now wait a minute, so the other one you need bumped to 40,000. This one you need bumped,
What we have here is Firestone. We have 24 trees yet that have to come down. It's $6,575.
Okay, and we're
Then-
replacing those
What's the
trees.
Yeah, and then
4,800.
to replace them is the 4,800. I'm sorry,
Uh-huh.
it took me 2 hours to type that.
Oh, really?
I thought I did pretty good, but,
Uh-huh.
So the cost.
which,
we
that's
would need-
replacements is 4,800. just
4,800.
To replace the trees on Firestone.
So we take the 500, we make it
Okay,
$5,000.
Firestone, it says 24 at 6,000.
That's to take the remaining trees out,
That's to remove the trees.
remove the trees.
This
How
is
many
to
quotes did
replace.
you get for that?
Pardon?
How many quotes did you get for that?
I have
They're all
3.
that high?
Yes, some are higher.
Holy heck. Mike, don't you have a tree guy? What's his
Are you
name?
kidding? Do you know how much a tree costs? 1,500 for one.
And
No,
the
Mike just found some
4,800
tree guy.
that
It's
Sylvia
taking down a
was
whole bunch of
meant to
trees
be
for
for
hardly nothing.
replace the
We
trees
use
that were
Nick, we
cut
use
down.
Miller.
Right, I get that,
There's
yeah.
all
Okay.
kinds of guys that they're all
On summer,
expensive.
we still had those other trees remaining that we had to cut down,
Okay.
okay? Those are 12,000.
Are you saying that just removing them is 12,000?
Yes, and that includes stump grinding too, that 12,000.
Mhm.
There's 13 more trees that have to come down, but because of their size, they have to top them.
Uh-huh. And then,
What?
We
Stumps
had-
are separate from this.
okay, so if we start adding all this up into,
Well,
what do we
this,
add it
this
up
should,
to?
this should stay in the one fund for
Yeah, I get
the
that.
developments. This should go into the other one.
Okay, so we're wanting, if I'm reading this correctly, 22 plus 19?
Yes.
And that's 42,575 or something?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
There was 200 stumps, but I figured I'm gonna cut it in half because there's a lot that we need to do here. Do some this year and then continue.
Okay,
We'll
so
do
this
the
is
worst
only this
ones.
year. Okay.
Right. These are the worst ones, and you're looking at an average of $192.
I have a question.
Mhm.
What happened to all the money that the developers came in and put in
Well,
escrow for the trees?
This is what happened.
Okay,
Over the
yes.
years, and it's been done wrong for a long time. And this is what happened.
The money spent, I just wanna know, is the money gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
that's
don't
all
know where
wanted
it's
to know.
at. I think it's in, it could be in
Well,
the general
Sherry has a
fund.
good breakdown of it. Sherry
She had it
Kuzma,
down-
She went over it with me, and
Right,
she's a
right.
very good breakdown of it.
Yes, she did, but it was still done wrong, and I'm not blaming Sherry, I'm not
No.
blaming anybody. what, the way it should have been done was each development should have had its own line item
Right,
with the money that was in there, and then you wouldn't have
Right.
had this problem. But anyways, it doesn't matter now
because the money comes into the building department,
Yes,
and if it's coded wrong, it gets coded wrong when it gets into,
So what we have is we
into
need,
the receivables.
So if I'm understanding what you want at this point, you're talking,
In which line item are we putting this?
well, that's a different question, but,
I don't know, we gotta make sure it goes in the right
well,
line.
I agree, I'm
Jeez.
not arguing that, I'm just trying to get the totals here.
yes.
67,000,
yeah, we're-
62,000 almost.
You're looking at about 43,000 just to put in the one line item, which I would keep it separate naturally, and I was looking
Okay, yeah,
at.
there's 43,000 here, but
Mhm.
the above, we're asking for, another 1780, so
To go
basically about
into,
60.
yes, to go into the subdivision.
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
Okay.
So it's about
60.
60,000 total,
Okay,
Yes,
so-
until you read the next one.
If he's
until I read the
suggesting,
next one.
There's always
Sylvia.
the next.
Uh-huh.
Sylvia, if he's suggesting that each development have, for the trees, for anything that comes in, we should have the money, break it down into each that
It
development.
should have its own line item.
Its own line
Right, that's
item.
for the future we're talking
For,
about.
so that it just, there is no more confusion on this.
Yeah, I agree with
Because
that.
more developments are coming in, and we're gonna be right back at the same problem again.
But council doesn't need.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I understand that,
Building
but somewhere they
department
need
or
to do
someone, yeah.
this,
Yeah, well, they're going to get it, we've gotta make sure
We'll
that
have
gets
to
straightened
change.
out.
we hope.
Well, the building department says to the finance, here's the money I got, this is for the development, so they gotta work it out.
Yes, they do. Let
Finance
me ask this-
department has
Yes.
to
Let me
get
ask
the
this
line
question, now, this is Gardens of Highlands.
Yes, Gardens of Highland.
Now, what are you suggesting here?
Gardens of Highland, if you read, they put trees where it shouldn't have been done. If you read the
You're
planting
saying,
of trees, our own ordinances, they shouldn't have been planted there, but they
okay.
were. They
And who
died.
planted them, the residents?
No, we did,
You did, okay.
okay. Well, not me, the city did.
Well, I
And,
understand, not you personally,
right.
but.
It was planted, they all died.
Oh.
We spent $20,460 there. The trees are dead.
And they all
Uh,
died.
I have another question.
And they even went over, yes, ma'am.
Okay, from my understanding, when a developer comes in,
Mhm.
each home being built is responsible to pay for 2 trees.
Right.
One goes in, and if the one dies, they get the other one, they got the
No.
extra money in escrow, because they're paying for 2 trees.
They
For each,
I see.
But
Tree
they're
line.
planting 2 trees.
They're
On
actually,
almost
yeah, but they're
developed.
only supposed to plant one, and that money's always kept in escrow in case the tree dies. That's what I was told, I was at a meeting with that new
Okay.
development that came in by me. And that's the understanding according to the developer, the resident,
Well-
and
Okay.
Tom.
But your ordinance says every 40 feet, put a tree.
Where's the tree?
And that's what they're doing.
okay.
Every 40 feet, they're putting a tree. It doesn't work out. And they don't account for trees that die. Every 9 that are planted, 2 are gonna die for sure. And that cost isn't covered either. So what was happening in the past, you had everything in one line item. So if they're in Lake Forest and 10 trees died, they went to that line item and they paid for those 10 trees. But meanwhile, some of that money could have belonged to Thousand Oaks.
Well, we get that part.
Yeah,
We
I
get
mean,
the
but I'm
confusion there.
answering your question about
Yeah.
what happens with the money. But they didn't do that, they planted a tree every 40 feet according to the ordinance. So
Okay.
some people are getting 2, there's some lots getting 3.
Because of the size of the lot.
Right,
Okay.
so
Let
that's
me
what
ask
they were
this
doing.
question.
Mhm.
We seem to have achieved a very high level of tree depth on this one item. How did we do that?
Well, they were killed by the salt. I mean, they're 3 feet, it's a 3-foot wide tree lawn right by the curb. Them trucks are going by with salt and the blast, that's it.
So in essence, what should have been there is grass,
Yes.
not trees.
Right.
So there's grass there.
And there's grass there
Yeah,
now.
yeah, with
We
twigs.
should probably keep it that.
So what is our, is
You
there?
have 2 options. One option is just give everybody back their money, and it's $15,000 it will come to. Or we spend $15,000, we give them option 2, you can read it. is
Okay.
the only
We
other
take
option.
them out,
But it
we
would
put
still
trees
cost
in,
us
or we
15.
just
But
take them
are
out
we
and
guaranteeing that we're gonna keep planting these trees forever and ever?
No, in option two, we
They
would tell the
died, they
people,
died.
we
Sorry.
put them in, you know, we put them in, they have to take care of them.
Unless if
But I
we-
mean-
But we did put them in before, they
We
just
put them in,
happened
they
to die.
died, why do we have to replace them? I mean, is that part of the deal? I don't think it
I,
is.
well, you know, this is what's hard for me is because of the way these ordinances are written. It's
Okay.
like we're responsible for that area.
We are, but if the trees won't grow in that area,
Yeah,
and
right.
we know now they won't grow in that area, why are we now responsible to put trees in their front yards on their own property? I don't think we have any responsibility, we did our best, we're
And-
done.
And if that's what you
Mhm.
feel, that's what we'll do.
That's what I'm arguing,
Okay.
but I don't know, nobody else is
Right.
jumping to the gun.
I agree,
There
I
are
think
some
that once the
things
tree's
that
in there and
I've
it dies,
asked
everything
also,
on them,
because we
trees
have a lot of
put their own
people,
brand.
their trees, now I'm getting prices to have our trees trimmed throughout the whole city.
Before we go on to trimming,
Yeah, okay.
What's
all
your
right,
thought,
but
Mayor?
it relates to this, but,
you got a dog in the fight,
yeah.
Thank you. We,
you're welcome.
we have been doing this, so a precedent has been set, that's the only thing that bothers me. We've already replaced some.
Well, we may have replaced some on the tree lawn.
Yes,
If I
but
can
the
argue-
tree lawns were more accepting a tree.
Right.
This tree lawn never should have had a tree.
Right, and to continue with the discussion, arguably, we own the tree lawn. And so maybe we do have a responsibility to put back a tree. I can buy that. But I don't think I have the responsibility, I'm arguing that the city does not have the responsibility to, if the tree lawn is so narrow that it won't accept the tree, to then buy another tree and put it on private property, which is what this $15,000 is.
That was the, yeah.
So
That was the
what's-
other
What's
option.
your thought on that?
I wouldn't put a tree in front of a house unless there was 15, 20 feet of room, like in the old neighborhoods, Rocky River, places like that. When you put them on these tree lawns that are so skinny, they end up busting the sidewalks, and then who has to fix the
Well,
sidewalk?
but then we're saying, put them
That
on
was
the,
option two, that was
was
totally up
to
to.
put them in the yard, which is
That's
on
the
private
option too,
property.
that he's-
So I say, we did our best.
That was
God
given
bless
to me
everybody
by the
who went home.
arborist, that's just an
Well,
option.
Now,
you know,
you're
by law, we can't do work on people's
Sure.
property, so we can't.
They would have to
put
take over the
in
tree, we
their
can't be
yard.
responsible.
Then we
Well, by
also,
law, we- I
have-
don't think
right,
we even
by law,
plan
we
it.
can't, we
Right.
can't do it, we don't do work on private property.
If you read the
By law,
ordinance, yeah,
you're
we
saying
should,
here,
it never
has-
should have been there.
We shouldn't put anything in if we don't have 4 feet from the street pavement, we don't, so. I don't think we have-
Those particular lawns that
We
are
don't
very
have to
small,
Put any
too.
in,
Let me ask you this,
Yes.
we
Jim.
should never put them in.
Right, if they die,
We
I
are,
don't think
we
have to
are,
go back.
So-
because they paid us to put these trees, and the trees died, are you suggesting that we
Oh.
owe them the money
No.
that they originally,
Right.
that's what he seems to be
Oh, I
saying.
understand, but I'm arguing that's crazy.
That's
the
what
tree
comes back to
died.
me from the developer and the residents.
They can't
So I'm
put them in
just,
their yard.
I
telling
understand,
you.
but you gotta tell them, you know, if that's what we decide, then that's what we decided, then they can come yell at us.
yeah, if council says no,
But-
then I can tell them council said no. You know, that's,
I don't think there's anywhere in the ordinance, or anywhere in the city, or anywhere in their contract when they built their house, that there's a guarantee that the city's gonna make sure there's a damn tree in their tree lawn forever. You know, we did our best.
and that's good to know. I'm glad you said
So I'm
that.
the only one that's arguing
Yeah,
that,
you're the
so-
only one
Well, no, I
saying
don't see
it.
anything in her.
If everybody agrees.
You
Can't
agree
see
with
that
me?
we do. I agree with her. I don't think we ever had that it was forever.
Because the problem I've
It's a
been
one-time
having is
deal.
even developments crow area.
Well, we may
Trees
wanna
die,
do-
and they've come down,
Alright.
they want
You
the
know,
tree
we may wanna-
replaced.
Right.
Now, I'm in a dilemma, because there was nobody that set a set precedent, no. It's been
Right.
40 years, you don't get another tree.
Well, I think what we may wanna do is update the ordinance. I mean, if you look at this,
Right.
it was passed in 1868.
But also,
And updated to say it's not-
what Jim is talking about is trees that are 40 or 50 years old, at some point in time,
They got-
when,
We have to
when
decide.
we start looking and we see a street where there's a bunch of them that's dead, then the city may make a decision to beautify that block.
It'd be on a beautification, not on the fact that I owe you
Right,
a tree.
right.
And
I'd rather go
again,
that
that's
route.
good to know, because
When they clean
I've
up
never
those
been able to
people,
get that
You
answer.
only got two people
Well,
answering.
I'm listening to this, and there's two things I wanna know about
Mhm.
this. One, it looks like the Gardens of Highland situation is unique to Gardens of Highland, it shouldn't have been planted in the first place,
Right,
right?
it shouldn't.
Okay, the other ones that we have here, comparing it to these other ones,
Well-
we agreed to plant trees for the developer.
Yes, it's part of the,
Right,
part
the
of the
regular
agreement.
standard contract we had, we were gonna plant them, we didn't at all, is that correct?
No, we did plant the ones that they had coming. This is what's still owed. In other words, there's empty lots, there's new homes being built.
Okay, so
Okay.
these are for situations where the lot was not developed, but they already paid us for this?
Yes, the developer paid for all these lots.
All the lots,
Right.
okay. And we haven't planted those trees because they didn't have a home there.
Exactly.
Now they have a home there.
Yes,
Okay.
and some of them are still vacant, so that's the total number we would need.
Okay. But if they're vacant, we don't need to plant them this year, right?
No, we don't plant the tree until the home is actually there, but
Well
you
then, well, here's what I'm gonna
Mhm.
suggest, that we refine this list to only suggest for 2015, those that have already been built, so that we don't have to put money in there now that we could put in 2016. If the lot's vacant, we don't have to plant a tree, correct?
Right.
You normally
The
don't
only
have
thing-
till the
My
development's
suggestion
done.
is
The
that
only
change
thing
the
that
ordinance
I was thinking
that
of is if the money's there,
if a
it's
property
there.
owner.
Okay.
wants
Then I
to
never
tree,
have to
they're
come
on
back
their
to you
own.
and say,
I
I
see.
need
Take the
money.
city
Okay.
totally
But
out
if
of
you
it.
want me, I
Don't
have
make
the
it be
numbers.
required
Okay, I
that
would like the
builder
numbers,
has to put money in
please.
escrow.
Sure.
Just
And
get rid of this tree
the
stuff.
Firestone issue is something else, we have a bunch of dead ash trees.
Yeah, those are trees, we agreed to that, we did half of
But
them
no,
already.
let me tell you what happened. Rosalie Corn over by Woodview,
This is-
where I'm at, and
That's how
Skyland
many
and
right
Ledge
now
Acres,
that are vacant.
they went around
Right
and
now,
every
okay.
resident put their own
This is
tree on the
what's
tree
new.
line.
That's
Right.
what's
Everybody
new
paid
now.
Now,
for their
these
own
guys
tree.
will need 30,000.
And that's how they got
Okay.
their,
Well,
all those trees
this
in like that.
figure,
So,
you could put in that, because we
Everybody
have
thinks that you
22.8
gotta have a
already.
tree now. You don't have
So
to. None
we
of those
can
trees were
reduce
there
that,
for years.
that amount.
Rosalie
Yeah,
went
to-
around and
I
asked
got it.
all
To
the
come to
people
that amount.
to pay for their own
Alright,
tree. So they were those Bradford pears, okay? They're Queen pear. And so when they're in bloom, it's beautiful in the springtime, but every resident put their own tree in. And I just think we need to get away from the tree stuff. And it's up, if that development wants to put trees in that, they're on their own.
Well, we can revise them.
That's what I say.
You have to go on a
Yeah.
repeal.
That's a different
Or alter,
argument
yeah,
for,
that's
Right.
for a different day, but I think right now we're talking about the
Right.
budget
Okay,
That's
well,
right.
and,
Well,
and
that's
Highland.
for
What do you
more
think about on
developments.
Highland Point? Do you think we should,
No, I've been over there, it's
Gardens
so
of
near,
Highland?
it's so
Right,
narrow,
right.
you should see how small it is.
So you agree
There's
we
no
should-
room to put a tree.
do you agree then with my argument that we tried once, didn't work,
Right.
too bad, we don't owe you any money, we're not putting putting another tree on your property because it's private?
Right.
okay.
Do you?
I agree with you on that too.
All right.
What I'm also suggesting is, he just showed me the numbers, we would need it looks about 7,500 more to just cover those that are already built homes that they would like to put trees in front of, instead of the 17,
At
whatever.
the Gardens of Highland?
No,
No,
Gardens
no,
of
no,
Highlands
this
has
is-
nothing to do with this.
All the developments I just showed you there.
Mayor, are you okay with the way we're
Well, the
handling
only
Gardens of
thing
Highland?
I would do is, I don't know what our obligations are by contract. I don't know if it's some covenant, if there isn't something in writing legally that would force us.
I could check.
Well, I
If
think
if
that's
we
good.
can
Sure,
check that,
check.
and
I'll check with it.
The answer is that nothing legally, then I think you have your answer.
Okay.
Right, so I do have your
That's good.
answer. We would need,
Of course, Will and I would.
Okay, what line item are we putting this 60 grand in?
we're not putting 60 grand in.
Well, I thought it was 60 grand.
Yeah.
Can we
Well, it's
have,
42.
take
I
a
thought you
look
came up
at
with
the,
60, so yeah.
Jim?
Originally,
Tom
but
take a
it's
look at
been
the whole-
adjusted
he's an arborist,
because,
Just
he
the
went to class
42
for
now.
that, he graduated. Take a whole look
Which
at
line
the
item?
section,
Mhm.
because this may be, with the way of things, that this is 68 and 67.
Right,
The way things
yeah,
have
that's
changed,
how we're.
maybe none, although I sure agree with the one you highlighted, because we've had that discussion about overhanging trees, and how nobody cuts their branches
we are gonna put,
as a runner, but I think if we could
They
get
always
you to
made it
look at
sound like
this
it
whole
was our
section.
responsibility, but after reading that, it's not, it's the homeowners.
Right, fantastic, yeah.
17.8
because they're
is to
hanging
now
on the
be
street.
$7,200, this
But
one
I
is
think it would
reduced.
behoove us to have
What do
Tom
they know,
take a
when it
look
comes
at
to 42
this.
by 75.
I give
Yeah, this one
expert
here is a
opinion. He's
separate
an
line
expert
item.
now.
And it's gonna be to remove, we have trees to remove here,
But overhanging
We have
trees, does that apply
trees to
trees?
remove
That applies
here.
to trees not in the tree line.
and
Yeah, it applies
we've
to
got
trees
a
in
lot
the
of
tree
stump
line.
grinding to do.
When you read that.
And that's because the ash tree's all
That's
down.
how I
What
took
line
it,
are
but
you
I'm,
putting
you know,
it on?
Trees in the street.
I'm not sure which one we're gonna put it on, I will check it. Right now, it
Bushes
is
on
on,
sidewalks.
So we
Two,
think that we
three,
should- should.
two,
Because it
three?
doesn't say that.
it's going to be in
So
the
you could make
223
the
area.
argument that
We
own
may
the
have
tree,
to
we
add
should-
one because
the
that's a
tree
new
line, we
function.
should-
Okay, I'll check on that, all right?
But-
We wanna make sure that.
Oh,
But sure, if it's on
I don't
public
think
property, if
anybody's
it's on
coming
their
back to
side
us
of
about
the
any
sidewalk.
trees.
Then they.
No more
we-
tree
We
line.
still own the
Once
tree.
we
we
put
can-
this in,
we-
we
yeah.
just
Still have
gave
the
them,
tree, that's the
we gave them
regulation.
almost
Tree line.
$40,000
All right.
for trees,
Okay.
just recently.
What we, is everybody
That's
good?
$80,000 in tree money.
I understand. Is everybody good with
That's
the
a lot of
fact
money.
that we're going to have to remove these ash trees, the trees that are dead on summer, and stump grind all bunches of stumps? Is that, it's gonna add up to 42,575,
They're on the tree line, we own them, we gotta do something.
right?
Are we still doing the above, we gotta finish? Our legal obligation,
What?
the one above.
The one above, I just asked him how many of these are already have homes on there. $7,200 worth of trees are needed for ones that already have homes built, and we have no money to put them in there.
I think we're gonna owe a bunch of these.
So that's going to, we're gonna upgrade that line to $30,000.
I think the agreement is we have to finish our legal obligation, and then we're saying we will take care
Yes,
of Firestone and so on.
yes, that's what
And
we're
the
saying.
stumps.
That's what we're
The
saying, which is
stumps, we're doing 100
42,500.
of them, we're doing the worst ones.
to-
There's over 200, I was just trying to do the worst ones first. Try to,
Okay, all right,
All right,
And
let's-
Guardians of Highland is off the table.
yes, from our standpoint. Unless we're told there's some legal problem with a covenant or something. But
I
it's
will
not on-
find that out for you.
Okay,
Then it's your request, which is off the table. This.
okay,
That's good.
all right,
Valid point.
okay. All right,
Oh, I know why it's not.
the recreation center lighting, there was a very large number associated with that request.
Is that in service or is that in recreation, I'm sorry?
That was actually gonna be, the service department has been replacing lighting on a regular
Yes.
Oh, I
basis.
see, I see, all
Yeah,
right.
it's actually the rec center, what we'd like to do is finish that building. We have quite a bit of it done already, and Left Electric is getting me the actual dollar amount to
Okay, so
finish
we do not
the
know
rec center.
yet. Right.
They're giving us the actual, the total amount that included, this building also was 260,000.
Yeah, I know, and
Right,
we asked you to look at just finishing the rec.
right, and they're getting me that information.
These are the new lights they're gonna say.
Yes, all LED.
Allegedly, right. So the rec center has a number of them already replaced. We
Yes.
wanted to find out how much to replace the entire rec center.
The remainder.
260,000 is a heck of a lot without a really strong payback, which we don't see.
And what is the payback? What are we gonna say?
According to Left Electric, you're looking at a 5-year payback. And
For 260,000?
yes, for 263,000, they're
I
talking
doubt
a
that,
5-year
just based on
contract.
the numbers.
What it's based on is the money that you save on your electric.
I know it is, but
Yeah.
what's our total electric bill for this building?
For this building, it was 46,000,
A year?
yeah, something
Well,
like that. Or-
if you're
or
gonna-
more, Or 70-something, no, it was 77,000 for the year, and they could cut it in half.
They're saying they can cut it in
Yes.
half.
That,
And-
I'm only going by what.
Are they gonna put that in writing?
Yeah, it is in writing, actually, I have.
Okay, so if we cut it in half, let's say it's 35,000 a year, the payback period for 260,000 is more than 5 years.
Well, you gotta include the rec
You
center
gotta include
too.
the rec center, I was just
Well-
talking about this. Boy.
I'm skeptical of this. Let's
Well,
get the rec center.
I have another meeting
I'm
coming
not
up,
skeptical.
and
Being a member of
I would
the-
be more than happy
You
to have
have to go,
everyone
you need
wanna
to
sit in.
upgrade. We're not upgraded, we're
Yes.
on the old
What happened
technology,
with,
and every
when we did the
government
lighting
entity is
last
looking
year,
at how
all
they
I
can
know.
save
the
money
pool
by
area?
doing this, so.
What kind of lights did we
Being
put
We
in
need
there?
to
hard
have
for
our
maybe
LEDs.
proof from
We don't
other
have to do the
entities
pool
that
area.
have
No,
done it.
pool's done.
The pool area is done.
The
We
workout
paid for
area
it
is
all.
done,
They could,
the entrance is done.
Okay, that's what I thought. I mean, Sylvia, that has to do with the lighting. We just paid a lot of money. We're not council last year, but we gave
Right.
them a lot of money because that was the people over there working that Martin got all upset about. Okay? They
so,
just replaced all the lighting over there, and I'm asking what kind of lights he just put in over there.
okay.
LEDs.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
That's what he's
Oh,
saying, they're
But you have
almost
some more
done.
you need to finish.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
all-
we need
that's
to
all
finish
I-
the building.
They don't sell the old kind anymore. That was
There are
what started,
some-
the whole thing is
I'll get you the
burn
figures.
so
Give me the breakdown, please, thank you.
no way to replace them, so you're gonna give us a breakdown between what it would be to do this building and the, for each building, right?
Right,
For-
and how much we're paying and when the payback is. So
I'm
let's-
having Brian Schuman with me,
Okay.
putting in the lights to
Is
save
Brian
us.
gonna be putting them in?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
he'll save us considerable amount of money.
Okay, so now, these capital requests, Jim, that you have,
Yes.
you need to go through and look at what you're talking about here.
Okay, you wanna start with the heat pumps, 401?
Yeah, those are all, we have those accounted for in the
Okay.
401 area, yes.
Are we looking at the summary or are we looking at the line items now?
Well, we are looking at the summary first, and then we're going to the line items.
What line item are we at?
We're going to the 401s.
Okay.
You get
Okay.
four.
All right. All right, the heat pumps are in here at 45,000, which is for your request, right?
Yes,
The full depth repairs are in here for 100,000.
yes.
The roof project for the city hall, the other half of that is in here. The ceiling for the roads is here at 50,000.
And that's for our crack ceiling? correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I'll just-
Okay.
We went through the whole 40,000 this year.
Okay, 50,000 should get us forward on that. What else we had is essential. Now, the stormwater projects are in here for 140. And those items were, to find, make sure we are all on the same page on what those items are. I had that one.
I have that at, 140, 401, 5629.
Yeah, those are,
Okay.
those are all covered in this item, 140,000, correct. Now, the items that were listed for the stormwater project, for
Yes, I
140.
had quite a few listed.
Well, no, that's a separate group here, but you, this is what Mr. Ladd said was included in the 140. He said that it was going to be the culvert replacement program, stormwater maintenance for 50, those are both 50,000, that's in their plan list.
They're using my stormwater money?
Well, they're saying that you are, this is part of the plan for stormwater replacement, for
Okay.
stormwater support.
So
That you requested, and their estimate is this is the money divided out. It
The-
says 50,000 for culvert replacement, 50,000 for stormwater maintenance, which I assume means those
He's talking about the cleaning and inspection of all the catch basins.
catch basins, yeah.